Have you ever thought that learning a language felt less like studying and more like solving a puzzle? Well, we're going to dive into Finnish, a language that treats its family tree like a set of logical building blocks. It's pretty cool. Seriously, take a second and think about it. In English, you've got grandson, granddaughter, widower, widow, stepbrother, stepsister. I mean, the list just keeps going. It's a ton of words to memorize. But what if there was a way to do all of that with just a handful of logical pieces?
Okay, this slide right here shows you exactly what I'm talking about. Look at the difference. Spanish needs all these separate gender-specific words, while Finnish just has one for each concept. So how on earth is that possible? Let's unpack the logic.
Right, so in a lot of languages, you're basically caught in this giant web of memorization. You learn nieto for grandson, but then you also have to learn a totally different ending for nieta for granddaughter. Every single relationship is a new word you have to file away in your brain.
But the Finnish approach? It's completely different, and this is where it gets really fun. Instead of memorizing this huge, long list, you learn a few core Lego blocks and the rules for snapping them together. It's a whole system built on logic, not just memory.
So let's start with our most basic building block. This is the word lapsi, and it just means child. Simple enough, right?
Now, to connect this piece to something else, you just tweak it a little bit to lapsen. This now means of the child or childs. Seriously, think of it like adding that little stud on top of a Lego block so another piece can click right on top.
And here's the magic. You snap those two pieces together. Lapsen plus lapsi becomes lapsen-lapsi. And just like that, you've built a new word. You didn't have to memorize anything new. You just constructed it. It literally translates to child's child, and it gives you one single, logical, gender-neutral word for grandchild. How cool is that?
All right, ready for another powerful building block? Here we have the word puoli. It means half or side, and you're about to see just how incredibly useful this one little piece can be.
And just look at how efficient this is. You just stick puoli right on the front of sister or brother to create half-sister or half-brother. But get this, that same single structure also covers step-siblings. It's just an incredibly economical way to handle these more complex family relationships.
This whole idea of efficiency goes even deeper, though. It's not just about building compound words. The language itself just seems to prefer single, gender-neutral terms whenever it can.
I mean, just look at this chart. Where a language like Spanish needs two separate words for a widow and a widower, Finnish just has one, leski. It covers both. And the same thing for being divorced, eronut, or engaged, kioloisa. One word does the job of two, and sometimes it does the job of a whole phrase.
But, you know, no language is a perfectly logical machine. They're living, breathing things that get shaped by culture and history. And in Finnish, this is where the pure logic of building blocks kind of bumps up against tradition, especially when we start talking about in-laws.
Yeah, for in-laws, Finnish just drops the whole building block system. Instead, it has these unique traditional words that you just have to learn, like minja for daughter-in-law. It's actually a fantastic reminder that culture and history always have a say in how a language works.
So, okay, we've seen all these different logical blocks, and even some exceptions. But how do they all click together in a real, actual sentence? Well, let's build one right now.
So our goal here is to say, I would like to tell my girlfriend that my brother is engaged. Let's assemble it piece by piece. Block 1, haluaisin kertoa. Got it? Block 2, for to my girlfriend, is tyttöystävälleni. Then we add the little connector word että, which means that, and we finish with our last piece, veljeni on kihloissa, using that super efficient word for engaged. See? Every piece just clicks together in a perfectly logical order.
And this is the real takeaway. This is the whole point. When you learn a system like this, you're not just cramming your head full of vocabulary. You are learning to think in structures. You're learning to see the logic and to build meaning for yourself. And that is a fundamental shift in how you approach learning a language.
So, I want you to think about your own language now. When you talk about your family, are you just pulling words from a list you memorized, or are you snapping together building blocks of your own? Every single language has its own internal logic, its own fascinating puzzle, hiding right there in plain sight. What puzzle is your language waiting for you to solve?